Hi, I'm Clever Ghoul, but you can call me Nikki. Welcome back to the channel. Now that we're in the middle of July, in my opinion, it is officially time for Summerween to start. I know a lot of people out there agree with me, so we're gonna start getting into some Halloween crafts on the channel so that you're ready. Really, I think there's only like 16 more weekends left until Halloween. It's gonna be here really soon, so we have to get started. Right now, a lot of stores already have their Halloween products out, which to me is honestly like finding an oasis in the desert that is summer. I am so thrilled that everything's out and that we're getting ready for fall already. I know for some people it's too soon, but a lot of times I find that those people who say it's too soon think it's okay to start getting ready for Christmas in September. So just let us spooky people have this, okay? One of the stores that's already started to bring out Halloween items is Dollar Tree. When I went this week, mine was only just starting to bring out some florals and some smaller items, but I'm pretty sure that in the next week or two, they're really gonna stock the store with Halloween. So this week, we're making some stacked skull candlesticks. That is not easy to say. Now, admittedly, the skulls that I used in this project, I bought during last Halloween season. These are an item they always bring back. So like I said, keep an eye out in the next couple of weeks. And if you see them, grab some and you'll be ready to do this project. Now, this project's really easy. It's basically just cutting, gluing, and painting. However, I wouldn't say that this is a kid-friendly craft, as you are using an X-Acto knife to cut through a plastic skull, and you have to be really careful with that. Now, with all that being said, let's get into it. For materials, you'll need the following: 2 bags of these mini skulls. These are a little bit bigger than an inch. Now, you could probably do it with 1 bag, but I think getting 2 is better in case you mess up cutting into one of the skulls. This is just gonna give you room for any mistakes you might make. You'll need these 2 black candlesticks. Now, there's 2 sizes of these at the Dollar Tree. This one is around 7 inches tall from top to bottom. The other one was 8 or 9 inches tall. If you're gonna go with the taller one, you may wanna get an additional bag of skulls, but I used the shorter size. Hot glue, an X-Acto knife, and black spray paint. I use this Krylon spray paint that is a primer and paint all in one.
Additionally, you'll need a Sharpie and some fine to medium grit sandpaper.
To start, I pulled out one of my skulls and with a Sharpie went around and marked out where I wanted to cut around the skull itself. Then I took an X-Acto knife and very carefully, starting at the top of the skull, poked the knife downward and then went around the side, took it out, went around the opposite side, then went to the bottom and cut that as well. You want to be really careful here with the X-Acto knife. It's super sharp. These skulls are small. You don't want to accidentally slip and cut your finger. So just go slowly, take a breath. I know we all want to get projects done quickly, but it's really better to just take it slow here and not risk cutting yourself. Once you've gotten those skulls cut in half, I picked up one piece of the skull, put it against my candlestick, and took a Sharpie to mark out the width of the candlestick. I did that on the top of the skull and on the bottom. I also did that on the second half of the skull that we just cut. Then with those new marks, I took an X-Acto knife and cut along those lines, making a little tab that I then folded down and pushed into the skull. That way, when you put the skull against the existing metal rod, it'll just fit nicely and you'll be able to glue the 2 halves together. Like I said, I cut these tabs on the top and bottom of both halves of the skulls I had just cut out, put them against the candle rod to see how they were fitting, and I made any adjustments if I needed to. And then with the hot glue, I attached them to the candlestick. Now, the best way to do this, I found, is to take whichever half you want to do first, putting it against the candlestick, seeing where you're going to need glue, adding glue on that tab and around the bottom, and sticking it onto the candlestick. From there, I really recommend holding it down at least for a minute or two, just so it really sticks to the base of that candlestick. Once that first piece is secure, you're going to take the other half of the skull, add glue around it, match it up with the front of the skull, how it should be, and then stick it on. And again, hold that here just to make sure everything glues down nicely. Now, I had some seams that were starting to show up here. Now, in the end, you will see seams probably on these skulls, but they still look like they're attached and just kind of like they're decaying and not like there's a weird seam. So basically, you're just filling this seam with hot glue. Then any excess, as you're holding it, you take that piece of cardboard and you smooth around the sides and around the angles and all the perimeter of that glue that you just put down, and then you'll have a nice smooth surface, but just hold it there while it dries. I know that's a bit tedious, but it really helps in the long run, because if you let go and it starts to separate, you're just gonna have to keep adding glue and doing it over again. So just hold it there for a couple of minutes and let it be. From there, you're gonna repeat the same process with your next 2 skulls, marking where you wanna cut them, cutting them with the X-Acto knife, cutting the little tabs, bending the tabs in, taking hot glue, and then putting that on top of the previous skull you just glued down. Now, if you have any holes here with the gaps, again, just fill it with hot glue. Just fill it with hot glue until it looks flat or smooth or whatever. It's just the easiest way to do this. It saves you a step of adding in something like plaster and sanding and doing all that. Just use the hot glue. I know it might feel wasteful, but it'll just make your life easier and it'll be faster. Again, you're gonna repeat all those same steps with the third skull. Now, when placing these skulls, you can also place them all straight forward. You can place them a little scattered if you want. I chose the latter because I think it makes it more visually interesting, but do whatever feels right to you. Once that's all done and you've completed your first candlestick, you're gonna repeat the entire same process again on the second candlestick. Once both candlesticks are done, you're gonna pull out some fine to medium grit sandpaper and just go around and 1, remove any hot glue cobwebs, 2, just sand down any areas that are kind of bulky or sticking out, and 3, just adding a little bit of scratchiness to the texture of the skull, just really minor, just minorly going over it so that way when you spray it, the spray really has something to stick to. But once you're done with that, it's time to add spray paint. So then once you spray these all down, well, they're finished. That's it. I told you, really easy project. Cut, glue, paint. Done. So with all that done, it's time for the reveal. So here they are. You know, I was a little worried at first about the gap at the top here, but I don't really mind it in the end. There was actually a point when I was making these where before I'd spray painted, I was looking at them and I just felt like, I don't know if I have a craft this week. Like, I don't know if this turned out okay. But then once I spray painted them black, everything worked out. Everything was perfect. Black makes everything better. Now this craft is a great Dollar Tree craft. Obviously you're not gonna be able to get the spray paint there, so it does add to the cost. But in total, I don't think you're gonna be spending more than $15. And once you have the can of spray paint, you can use it for so many other Halloween projects that it ends up kind of evening out in the long run. I'm so thrilled with these. I think they're gonna look great in my home along with all my other spooky decor. Another option too is I think you could buy these same candlesticks and then buy a larger skull that takes up the entire candlestick rod, kind of like this guy. So like if you had this here instead, that's hard to see, but you could also do that as a different option. One word of safety advice though, as you can see, I'm using these tapered LED candles. I'm personally not going to put lit candles in them. I'm just going to be using the LED ones. If you are going to be using lit candles, if you're watching them, that's probably okay, but I would be really, really, really careful with these just because of the nature of spray paint and how flammable it can be. So, happy Summerween. Let me know in the comments below how you're celebrating and what projects you're getting ready for spooky season. I have so many fun projects coming up that are Halloween or spooky oriented, and I can't wait to share them with you. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.